My name is Laura Marchowski, and I'm the Program Department Manager here at the Rady JCC. So on behalf of the Rady JCC, I want to thank you all for being here today. I'm super excited. It's the first program where I actually see people in person in like a year and a half or so. It is very exciting, and I know it's exciting for you. And what's more exciting than making challah, right? With friends and family. And we're here to start celebrating Rosh Hashana. Rosh Hashana, as probably you know, means head of the year. We're celebrating the Jewish New Year that starts next week. So we're starting the celebrations a little beforehand. And there are many, many traditions and symbols around the holiday. We dip apples and honey for a sweet ear. We listen to the shofar. Sometimes we throw some bread on a body of water. There are many, many traditions, and one of those traditions is eat. Like in every Jewish holiday, we eat lots. And in this particular holiday, we also eat challah, but not any kind of challah. Would anyone here know which special challah we eat on Rosh Hashana? Any of the kids around here? Do we eat a special challah for Rosh Hashana? We eat the round challah, yes. We do eat a round challah that symbolizes the cycle of life, or for some people, the crown of God. So, we are going to be learning how to make challah and different braidings tonight. We're going to be doing a round challah and a few other ones. And in order to do that, I'm going to stop talking, because who you really want to be listening to is Lisa right here. Lisa Reiss is a fantastic cook. She is also a Rady staff, and she agreed to lead this workshop for you, and you're not going to be disappointed.
Hi everyone, can everyone hear me? Okay. So, as Laura says, I do have a bit of a cooking experience. I grew up lived almost 40 years in the kosher catering industry. This recipe that I developed for you is a fast recipe, so it's really convenient if you don't have a lot of time. What's unique about it is normally when you bake bread, you have to let it rise at least 2 times. This one time. So 1 time and you're done, so it's really quick. Okay, so when you're using a scale, it actually makes things a lot simpler. I'll go through the basics of the options on the scale, and then we'll actually start weighing the ingredients. So the important buttons are the mode, so either pounds or kilo. Some digital scales will have a little light, so backlight if you're working in the dark. The 0 button, that's the important one. That clears out the weight that you have, any weight you have on the scale. So when you put a bowl or anything on the scale and you don't want to include that in the weight of your final ingredients, you hit 0 and it'll balance it out. I'll show you that. And then the power button. So if we turn on the power button, you'll see a countdown. And then it's at 0 kilos. Now, obviously, if I'm weighing flour, I want a certain amount. We're going to do 800 kilos of flour. We don't want to include the weight of the bowl. So I hit 0, and it gives me 0 kilos. So I'm starting without any weight. So then, I'm going to weigh my next dry ingredient. We're going to 0 it out. So we're back down to 0 kilos. For the salt, we want 14 grams. So we'll just sprinkle it in until we hit there. We'll 0 it out once more. Now we'll add the sugar, so that's 80 grams of sugar. This isn't an overly sweet challah recipe. If you like a sweeter challah, you can add in a bit more sugar, or if you want, you can do half sugar, half honey if you like honey. You don't want to add too much honey because then you're adding more liquid and you'll end up with a wet dough. You'll have to add more flour. Okay, so the final dry ingredient is yeast. And we're using instant dry yeast. The nice thing about this is that it cuts the rise time in half. You only have to do 1 rise instead of 2 or 3 rises. For this, we're going to use 11 grams of yeast. So at this point we have all the dry ingredients for the challah, and we're just going to mix that up, make a well, and start adding the liquids, mix it up, and then go straight to kneading. Okay, and once you have the well in the middle of the flour, so that hole, you're going to pour the oil in.
Okay, so pour it.
Everyone should have an empty cup that your sugar was in. We're going to use that to crack the eggs into. The reason for this is according to kashrut, the Jewish dietary laws, we cannot consume blood. So instead of cracking eggs directly into any food, we crack them into a cup that we can see all the way around and check it before we use it. Okay? Another trick, and this is a professional trick, when you crack an egg, you should never crack it on the edge of a bowl or a cup. It should always be cracked on a flat surface. This is so that you don't accidentally push eggshell into the egg. Okay? So a quick trick is you could crack your 2 eggs together and you get one that's ready to go. You want to take a half of your flour and pour it onto the table in a sort of little pile. And we're going to take the dough that's in the bowl and pour it out onto that. Sort of scoop the dough toward you and fold it in half. And when you do that, you'll pick up some of the flour and start mixing it, kneading it into the dough. Like this. Okay, and you should end up with a nice ball of dough. Okay, so once you have one long snake, you just coil it onto itself, and that is your challah. And then you tuck the very end, the tail end, underneath the challah. Now the second one is going to be a plain woven. For that, you need to cut your dough into 4 balls. We're going to do a double woven. That is 8 balls of dough. When you're doing a woven one, you do want the dough snakes to be pretty thin. Okay? You want And I put 1 woven anything? Where you know the up and over and under? No? Okay. So when you weave something, it's over one, under one. So in this case, we only have 2 and 2. So the first one is over one, and then under one. Then you take your next one, and you do the opposite. Okay, I'll help you, don't worry. I'm just for people who are ready. So for the next one, the one that's under, you want, sorry, yeah, the one that's under, you want to go over, so you do it in reverse. If you see this going across, this one is over the vertical one, then under the second one, right here. The next one is under the vertical, and then over the vertical one, the second one. Okay, now if that wasn't confusing enough, it's going to get a little bit more confusing. So what we're going to do, the one that's under, okay, you're going to move it forward over the one next to it. And you're going to go in a circle, clockwise, so to the right. Lift it up and over. Lift up and over. Up and over. Now the trick here is that you always want to be moving the one that's coming from underneath for this. So now we went clockwise, so to your right. Now we're going in the opposite direction to your left. So from under, over. The dough is really short. If you watch up on the screen, I'll show you how to finish it off. Okay? We still go in the same direction, so you go under, over. If you see how to stretch it out and the ends are sort of pinched them together, and then you just tuck the ends underneath the challah. Thin snakes of dough. I'm about to do it right now. So I'm about to do the double strand weave. The difference is that instead of one strand, 2 strands. So as you can see, I have 4 strands right now, 2 and 2. So I take my next 2. And over and under. And you want the 2 strands to be side by side, not on top of each other. want to go in the opposite direction.
The small one going to Havas, and she's going to
Now, is there a reason for the numbers of strands or anything like that? That's just no aesthetics. Yeah. Because everything else has like reason and symbols, so I'm like, 6 must mean this, right? Like,
In a lot of Jewish cooking,